What's going on, VoiceOver warriors and keyboard ninjas? Welcome back to Logic.band, a place full of tips, tricks, and tutorials to help you as a blind Logic Pro, macOS, and VoiceOver user. If you haven't yet, visit Logic.band, and right there on the homepage, you can sign up for the mailing list to get yourself a free Getting Started with Logic course. So we're going to continue our look at creating a template today. And last time out, we talked about what tracks you may want to consider having in your template. And before that, we talked about creating the template and setting everything up so that you could have the layout that you're comfortable with when you start creating a project. Now, if you want to have any session player tracks in the project, personally, I like to use the drummer track as my metronome when I'm recording. But if you want to have any session player tracks in your project, this time we're going to discuss ways to just populate the session player tracks so there's a bunch of regions on there ready to go. So as you move through the different sections of songs, you can save yourself some time. You don't need to add a new region. You can just start either editing those regions or playing along with them in the case of a drummer track, and then you can edit them after you get all your basic recording done. So without any further ado, let's pick up the tutorial and get right into that section. Whether you're using the session player drummer, keyboard player, or bass player, whenever you add a new session player track to the project, it comes up with a single 8-bar region. Now, in the case of drummer, for example, I like to have my entire project populated with drum tracks because I'm probably going to use the drummer as my metronome while I'm recording. But if you don't want to have to keep adding regions every time you get to a new section of a song, it's a good idea to just populate the tracks with regions. Now, there are 3 different ways you can do that. The first one is by pressing Control-Shift-D. And Control-Shift-D will just populate the tracks with regions all the way to your end of project marker. End of project marker by default is going to be set to bar 129, but you can adjust that to be earlier in the project if you want. Let's say your song ends at bar 89, you can select all the drummer regions after that with Control-Shift-F and delete them. So let me show you how to do that really quickly. I'm going to press Control-Shift-D. I'm on
track 1 SoCal Groove.
SoCal here, a drummer track. So if I press Control-Shift-D, you see that it's going to populate the track with drummer regions. If I do Control-End,
130 bars.
You see ends at bar 130, Control-Home.
9 bars.
And it starts at bar 9. But really, it's just because that's the region added after the first region. Remember, whenever you create a session player track, it's going to come up with one region on it already. I'm going to do Shift-A to select all the regions on the track. And you'll see now if I do Control-Home,
1 bar.
There's a region at bar 1, and the last region ends
130 bars.
at bar 130. So now let's say your song ends at bar 89, for example, right? What you can do is just tap the left or right arrows a bunch of times until you get to that region that starts at, say, bar 89, or wherever your song ends, right? Just tap the left arrow a couple times, and we do Control-Home.
97 bars.
97.
81 bars.
Control-Home. Let's tap it once.
97 bars. 89 bars.
There we go. So we have the region that starts at 89 and 97. Now, if I do Control-Shift-F, it will select all the regions after this one, and then I can just hit backspace.
Selection deleted.
And now, if I do Shift-A, you'll see my region start at bar 1
bar.
and end
89 bars.
at bar 89. So once you have a region selected, Control-Shift-F will let you select all the regions after it and delete it. Now, you may not do this until after you're done with the song and you know, all right, my song ends at bar 89. I don't need anything after that. So that's one way you can populate regions on a drummer track. Now, the thing to keep in mind is Control-Shift-D is going to alternate between 2 different regions. And I'll just select the second region here.
1 bar. 9 bars. 17 bar. 9 bars.
Region from 9 to 17. If I play this, see, that's the beat there. And if I go to bar 17
bars.
Play from here. So those are the 2 different regions that's going to populate through the project. Now, the reason that this starts at bar 9 and 17 is because, remember, you had a region on a track already from bar 1 to 8. So if we go to bar 1,
1 bar.
That's the same region that's
9 bars.
at bar 9. So that is the reason why it's not until bar 17 that you hear the second region. So that's something to keep in mind if you're using Control-Shift-D. Now, let's say you want to just have the same drummer region go through the project, and then you're just going to select each region as you work and choose what to do, how to edit them in the session player, right? So I'm just going to get rid of all these other regions here. So I'm at the region from 9 to 17 selected, Control Shift F and
Selection
backspace.
deleted.
And now I just have the single region on the track. I'm going to do Shift A to select all the regions on the track, Control Home.
1 bar.
Control
9
N.
bars.
So you see I'm back to just having one single region on the track. So the other way you can populate a drummer track with regions is by just pressing Command R a bunch of times. And it'll just repeat the same region through the project. So if you know you need 5 of them or 10 of them or whatever, you can just press it that many times. So I'll just do that. 1, 2, 3. All right, so I just hit it a bunch of times. And if I do Control Home and End, it'll tell you where the last region starts and ends. So Control Home.
169 bars.
And Control
177
N.
bars.
So you see we went way, way out there. If I do Shift A, you see Control Home.
1 bar.
Starts at bar 1.
177 bars.
So Shift A just lets you select all the regions on the track. So that's one way of doing it. Now I'm just going to hit the right arrow twice. Select
1 bar.
the
17
region
bar. 9 bars.
that starts from 9 to 17. Control Shift F and
Selection
delete
deleted.
all those again. So now we're back to just the one region in the track. Shift A.
1 bar. 9 bars.
So the third way you can add regions to a drummer track or any session play track is using Command Shift R, and that's going to repeat the single region you have on the track, but now you just get to type in a number as to how many times you want it to repeat. So if I do Command Shift R,
Repeat region /cell/events window.
and I can just type in a number like, let's say 24,
2, 4.
hit
20, now
return.
in.
Now you'll see that this track has regions going out to the end. I'm going to do Control N.
193 bars.
193 is where it starts.
201 bars.
201 is where it ends. But if I do Shift A, once again, you'll see
1 bar.
regions from bar 1
201 bars.
all the way up to 201. So, you'll probably type in a number closer to like 12 or something like that in 2024, like I just did. So same deal. You can go out to wherever you want and select all the regions after it and delete those regions as well. So let's say
9 bars.
get out to
17
region
bars.
9 to 17, Control Shift F. Delete,
Selection deleted.
and now just delete everything and back to 1 bar. So those are 3 ways you can populate regions on a session player track. Another option you have is to go into the session player editor and customize this drummer region before you repeat it. So let's say I'm going to hit E to open up the session player editor.
Session player group.
And that puts us on there. I'm going to interact with this.
In tracks group. 2
And
items. Tracks toolbar.
Let's view right.
Tracks group. Out of
I'm going to come out of the tracks
Session
group,
player
view
group.
right, because I guess my focus was still in the tracks group. Okay, I'm on the session player and I'm going to interact.
in session player group.
And view
3
right.
session player. 2 session player group. Session player group.
Interact with the session player
In session
group.
player group.
And let's say we go over
Session editor. Acoustic regenerate. 40%. 7 main. Main editor
to
group.
the session player
In
editor.
main editor group.
And we have the main editor
Main editor
group. I'm going
group.
to interact
In main
with
editor
that.
system selection. Pattern 2. System
And
accent selection group.
Let's say that you just want to kick, for example, right? We can
In
interact
accent
with
kick
this
selected. Toggle snare selected.
and turn
Snare
off the
toggle.
snare. So now we have something like this. So, that might be preferable. Or what we can do, someone asked recently about, what if I just want to shake her and to use as a metronome? So we'll turn off
Kick selected.
the
Toggle
kick as
toggle
well.
snare toggle
Turn
button.
off the snare. We're going to
Out of
stop
accent selection
interacting
group.
here.
Pattern 2. Systems pattern button. System selection group.
Go back to system selection. This is where we can choose our hi-hats and cymbals and stuff to
In
interact.
system hi-hat closed. Select crash cymbal. Toggle button. Hi-hat closed. Selected. Toggle button.
Let's
Hi-hat
turn
closed.
that
Toggle
off.
button. Crash cymbal. Low tom. Low tom. Out of
So
system
now
select.
we have pretty much a blank drummer region. Played the project, you didn't hear anything, right? But that's not going to do us a lot of good. So let's stop interacting.
Out of main editor
And
group.
we're going to VO left.
Main editor group.
Yep, stop interacting
Out
again.
of main editor group.
VO left.
79 40 regenerate acoustic editor radio group.
Go over to the editor radio group, interact with that.
In editor radio details radio button.
Go to
2 of 3
details
selected.
and stop interacting.
Out of editor radio group.
VO right.
Acoustic regenerate 40% 79 details editor group.
Interact with
In
details.
details editor group.
VO left and interact with details editor
In
group.
details at automatic snare menu button off percussion menu button
And let's turn on percussion.
menu check mark off tambourine 1
So we can do just a tambourine.
tambourine 1
We can
menu
do
off check tambourine 2
And there's a couple different tambourine patterns.
tambourine 3 shaker 1
And then we can do a
Shaker one.
shaker. And
menu
let's
off tambourine
and
3
we have
check mark shaker 1 shaker 2 shaker 3 claps 1
claps patterns
one.
as well. So you can use one of those, and you'll probably want to end up turning up the drum track if you use some of these, because these are quiet by default because they're generally meant to be accents. But if you want to be able to hear them over something you're tracking, you can go ahead and turn those up as well. Now, one other thing I will say, I'm going to close the session editor here.
Tracks, group.
Now that you have this the way you want it, you can go ahead and repeat it as many times as you want with Command R or Command Shift R. Now, if you turn the volume up on this,
Tracks,
and I'll
group.
go back in
Tracks
here.
time ruler. Tracks header. Track 1 SoCal. In track SoCal. Mute. Solo. On record in input monitor plus 0.0 in slot
Turn
plus
this
plus
up.
plus 6.
Plus
Out of
6.
slider. Out of track 1.
If you need a little bit more volume, you can actually go into the drum kit designer, which is the instrument on the drummer tracks. I'm going to do Command 2 to go into the mixer.
SoCal. Channel strip group. Untitled 8 block.
Let's interact with this channel
SoCal.
strip. VO home.
SoCal button.
And VO right.
Gain reduct on. MIDI plugin. Drum kit group.
Drum kit designer, that's what we're looking for. Drum kit, that's the instrument name, so we're going to interact with
drum
that.
Kit. Open button.
Go to open.
SoCal.
And
SoCal.
VO
SoCal.
right.
Dialog.
We're going to just do VO end actually.
Table. Row 1 of 88.
Jump over to the end here.
Kick. SoCal. Input mapping. Empty cell. Kick. Pop up button.
And I'm just going to go down to claps.
Kick. Snare. Empty. High. Right. Empty. Toms. Empty. Crash. Empty. Shake. Empty cell.
And there you see shaker.
Tambourine tune. Tambourine. Empty cell. Claps. APV1 claps. Pop up claps mute. Uncheck claps tune. 0 claps dampen. 0 claps gain. 0 decibel.
And what you want to do is, whether it's the shaker, the tambourine, or the claps, you want to find the thing that says gain. So claps gain, shaker gain, tambourine gain, whatever it is, interact with it.
0 decibel. In slot plus 12 dB.
Crank that up. And if you need a little bit more volume, I'm going to jump to the end here, VO end, after I stop interacting with the gain slider.
100%. Claps dampen. 0% claps. Empty cell. Filter. Check. Filter. Check.
So once you jump to the bottom, VO up 1.
Empty cell. Percussion master gain. 0 decibel.
VO up 2, I guess. Interact with percussion master gain.
0 decibels.
And you can crank this up 2 and get some more volume out of it. So that's how you can just kind of get some more volume if you want to use just a shaker or clap or tambourine as your click track, basically, on the drummer track. All right. I'm going to close that.
Group. Untitled. Now in. Untitled 8 logic.
Next up, we'll take a look at saving or updating your template. If you have any other questions about stuff you can include in your template, feel free to leave those in the comments below or jump on the Logic Band Discord server and let's talk about it over there as well. You can find all the info you need to join the Logic Band Discord server at logic.band/discord. And if you'd like to help grow the channel, help support the channel, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And you can always become a member by hitting the join button if you're watching this on YouTube, or visiting logic.band/members. And if you become a channel member, you'll get access to some bonus tutorials, some in-depth courses and stuff. I'm constantly working on adding stuff to the members area, so definitely a good place to go. You can support the channel, send some value back to Logic Band, receive some value in exchange for that with some additional tutorials. That's it for this one. As always, until next time, happy recording.